Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at Holmes Honda and this is the 2024 Honda Civic Hatchback Sport. And in today's video, I'm going to give you the information to answer the question, is this the best value trim level for the price? I tell you what, for a price that is south of $30,000, you get quite a bit, including above average fuel economy when compared to most competitors, above average cargo space. That's a given considering the fact that it is a hatchback, especially compared to the sedan version of the Civic. Very sporty as far as the handling and overall driving experience goes. And while you may not have the most horsepower under the hood, you still don't know the difference necessarily because this car feels so secure on the road, very confident in its ability to take corners. It just feels stuck. There's a lot of good there. You'll also find a lot of great technology within the interior, very easy to use. If you want to know more about this particular model, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color on this model is Sonic Gray. It has a black interior and LED lighting literally everywhere you look. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, the tail lights are LED. You might notice that flickering effect. I like to let people know in the video that's not really happening. The only way you can see that is to watch one of my videos, and the right lighting, it has to do with my camera, my GoPro that I'm filming with, just so you know. Safety-wise, you have Honda Sensing. It's going to include adaptive cruise control, road departure mitigation braking, lane keeping assist, traffic jam assist. The adaptive cruise control is there. There's a lot here. And obviously you can only get the Civic, no matter if it's the hatchback or the sedan in front wheel drive. How many of you would like to see an all-wheel drive Civic, and tell me why? Always curious to know. How about tire and wheel size? 235 on the width, so a good bit of tread on the road. And then a 40 series sidewall wrapped around the gloss black 18-inch wheels. I don't think that gloss black is a more perfect fit for something than Sonic Gray. It does work with a lot of colors, but in this particular case, it just seems to really fit in. Gloss black will also be found on the mirror caps. They are power adjustable side view mirrors. They are manually folding, as you can see right there. And let's take a look at the remote. You can see what you have here. And for the value, you do have remote start. So under $30,000, still getting that remote start. It is a proximity key. It has the walkaway feature and great lines from front to rear as far as looking as sporty as it feels to drive. On the rear, you will find the rear window. Let's get that untongue twisted, the rear window defogger. You'll also find the rear window wiper right there. That's obviously going to be helpful. And the LED tail lights. A very clean look back here on the rear as far as this model goes. Let's talk a little bit more about what motivates this Civic hatchback to get down the road. For those who say, Tom, I am not a fan of a turbocharged engine. Tell me what's under the hood. This is the naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder. It makes 158 horsepower and 138 on the torque. It's mated to what I personally consider a very well-behaved CVT, or continuously variable transmission. And some are going to say, man, I just don't think 158 horsepower is enough. Everybody's going to have their opinions on that. But one thing is for sure, you still have solid gas mileage numbers. 29 city, 37 highway, 32 combined, and 3.1 gallons of gas potentially per every 100 miles driven. And there is quite a bit to talk about back here as far as the cargo space goes. We'll open the rear hatch and reveal the 24.5 cubic feet of cargo space. Quite a bit here, a lot of options as far as how you can configure everything. Obviously, you can lower the seat backs down. That's always helpful, and I will lower both sides. I know not everybody does that, so I'm trying to be the exception to the rule. Wish people would learn to unbuckle the seat belts, but there we go. That makes it easier to get rid of that seat belt out of the way, and you can see maximize cargo capacity. You will also find the cargo cover that is retractable here. Let's see if I can get that in place. Kind of hard to do one-handed, but there we go. I pulled it off. So that has its advantages to hide away what you have in the rear. And one other thing that I think a lot of you are going to like, you do have the light right there. It's a shame that's not LED, but I don't know that it's that big of a deal back here. So let's see if I can do this one-handed. Sometimes I like a challenge, and I definitely found one trying to get this floor up one-handed, because there's another big benefit. No tire repair kits found here. You have a spare tire. And rear seat passengers are going to find a nice, comfortable armrest, as well as more of a bottle holder than a door bin, but that's a good thing to have back here. There is space there to store, well, whatever can fit. And a lot of space, plenty of headroom, plenty of leg room, even the oh crap handles right here. If somebody wanted to sit in the middle and really have some fun with your driving, depending on how you drive, I guess they could sit right here in the middle and grab both handles at the same time. It's possible to do. Other than that, there's not a lot to talk about back here, but remember price point. You don't have rear air conditioning vents. You don't have USB connectivity. I don't know that that's that big of a deal as far as the air conditioning vents go in an interior of this size. I don't think so. Should be more than enough air flowing from the front. But the big point back here, plenty of leg room and headspace. In fact, let's turn the camera around here. I'll get the glasses off the top of my head. Now, I'm 5'10". I'm sitting straight up. I do have space above my head. Depending on how a person sits back here, there's no doubt in my mind that someone over 6 feet tall could fit comfortably in this back seat area. And here in the front seat area, here's what your passengers will find, or a passenger. If they want a larger armrest and a larger door bin, they better call Shotgun. The interior is nicely designed, and while it's cloth, some people say that's antiquated. Some people say it doesn't really matter. Tell me what your thoughts are on that subject, and we'll open the glove box here and take a look. Plenty of space within that area. The driver and the passenger seats are both manually adjustable. That's just what you're going to find here on the Sport trim level, and plenty of space in this area. So there's a little bit of additional space right there, and you'll find a USB and 12-volt connection option as far as your connectivity goes. The conventional style shifter, definitely more popular, at least according to what a lot of you tell me in the comments section, than the push button shifter. Here's your mode selector, your drive mode selector. You can turn the auto stop start feature, or idle stop as it's often called, off right here. That is a good idea. And then your power parking brake and brake hold mode. And what is within the center console? Well, let's take a look and see. There is the removable tray right here. That has plenty of benefit, and there is a reasonable amount of space within this area. The tray actually can go in 2 different places, or you can just leave that out. And then we'll look over here to the driver's side door. Probably no surprises. You can control your power side view mirrors, all of the windows. And as far as these front windows go, let's go ahead and fire things up here. I'm going to push the button for the passenger side, and then I will push or pull on that again. And you can see that the front windows are 1 touch up and 1 touch down. Not 1 touch up and 1 touch down in the rear, but just in case you were curious about that, there is the answer to your question. And the nice digital dashboard. Nothing new here for 2024. This was here in 2022, but for those who might want to know, this is what you have. And you can push the home button right here with the steering wheel mounted controls, and then use the scroll wheel right here to work your way through several different options. If you want to choose something to look at, you just push that, and there you go. And right here, you're going to manage the exterior lights, headlights and tail lights. If you would like to do a front wheel drive burnout, it's probably going to be easier by turning the traction control off, and that's how you do that. Everything else here pretty self-explanatory, I think. You do have a lever right here to drop to adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Put that back in place when you're finished adjusting, by the way. And as far as shifter paddles go, yes, they are here. You're really not shifting the way you normally would because it's not a multi-speed transmission, but it mimics that, kind of gives you that feel. Depending on the driving mode that you're in, well, that can have its advantages. Speaking of driving modes, let's take a look at what we have. There are 3 here. You have normal, you have Econ, and up here you'll also have Sport mode. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, there is a lot of technology here, but it's very easy to use. Again, that flickering effect that you see is to do with nothing more than my camera, so it's not really happening. You will need a USB cable to pair your smartphone here, but that can still be done. Easy to deal with. Here is the multi-view rear view camera, so 3 different views, and you have the trajectory lines there as well. And single zone climate control, again, I think that goes back to what I said earlier. The interior is not that big. Don't necessarily need multi-zone or dual zone climate control, but you know, this is the sport trim level. It's not the highest. You could go higher. You can go sport touring, and obviously there's a lot more features there. You can also have a manual transmission if you want that, a 6-speed manual. A lot of people are definitely going to be happy about that. Okay, time for, well, one of my favorite parts. Anytime I'm able to make a video with a Honda Civic, 11th generation Civic, I should say, the test drive is the most enjoyable part because these models feel so secure on the road. They literally feel as if they're being sucked down to the road. When these new generation Civics first came out, they instantly, as soon as I hopped in one and drove it down the road, it felt so much more secure. The retuned suspension, the retuned shocks compared to the 10th generation just made such a difference. It's very much noticeable. If you're in the market for one of these models and you're saying to yourself, I need to drive it to really see if what Tom is saying is correct, I promise as soon as you get out on the road and take a turn, or you may just feel it instantly, you'll notice. You'll know that I'm telling you the truth. So that's a big deal right there. I really like that. And it's not that that's everything, but if you're having a bad day and you go out for a spirited drive, for example, well, there are advantages where that is concerned. And while I know a lot of people out there may say, oh, I don't think 158 horsepower is enough, it seems to be enough to definitely get the job done with anything you're going to need to do with this Civic. I don't think it's a problem. You definitely have the advantage of solid gas mileage numbers, and the ride quality is good. I'm not going to tell you that it's perfect, but I'm also not going to tell you that it's unbearable. It's a very enjoyable vehicle to drive, not only because of the way it handles, but it has a good, comfortable ride quality. The seats seem to be comfortable to me. I'm not spending a ridiculous amount of time driving, so yeah, a little bit more of maybe a small, short road trip might help with that to give you a better idea. But from what I've experienced, not a problem. Everything is easy to get to. I don't feel cramped in the interior here in the driver's seat. And the technology, very easy to use, very easy to learn. And the good news is that if you say to yourself, wow, there's a few things I'd like to have that the sport trim level doesn't offer, well, there's options for that. So you can obviously step up and find yourself in a position where, well, you can have whatever it is, maybe it is that you want. But overall, very fun. Fun to drive, enjoyable to drive, very practical, great gas mileage. It really brings a lot to the table for what it is. The brakes are good and responsive as I'm coming to a stop here, but they're not so responsive to the point that you're going to brake check yourself the first time you drive it or brake check your passengers. And so really a nice balance here. When you need to get down the road, there's plenty of power to do that. And so that's what I'm going to do right now. Let's just see. Get on down the road here. Now I'm at about half throttle, already to 50 miles per hour just doing that, and I'm not even trying. So that should tell you something right there. And as I said earlier in the video, for those of you who do not wish to have a turbocharged engine under the hood, well, here's a good option for you. Okay, everybody, tell me what you think about this 2024 Honda Civic Hatchback Sport. Does this particular trim level bring the most value at the best price? Tell me what your thoughts are, and tell me what you plan to do as far as 2024 goes. Do you plan to buy a new Civic, a Civic Hatchback, or even a sedan? Tell me down in the comments section if you do, and tell me what trim level you plan to have. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Civic Hatchback Sport for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.